Hey, soldier! Welcome to Pocket Ronnie. Sit down, pay attention, and conquer your fear of math.
Okay, we're going to solve equations by factoring. If you look at 5C9, you have this equation right here. Equation is when you have an equal sign and stuff on both sides. So your highest exponent will always tell you how many solutions you will have. My highest exponent here is a 2, a squared. This means I will have 2 solutions for this problem, okay? Normally in algebra, you had like 3x plus 5x equals 10. And you kept your letters on one side, numbers on the other, and you solved for x. Now we have an x squared, okay? So the very first thing you do is you set it equal to 0. Put everything, I normally put everything on the left-hand side and put 0 on the right-hand side. That is called standard form when you're solving equations. Standard form means put everything on one side and 0 on the other side. So it means we need to move our x over. So we need to add x, combine x's to x's. Don't combine x's to x squared. So now you have x squared minus 2x equals positive 6. Now we need to get rid of this 6, scoot it over here. Okay, I cannot combine x's to 6, so I just write it like that. And then on the right hand side, 0. I don't have anything. So I want to set it equal to 0. The next step, so the first step is set it equal to 0. Second step is factor. Can I factor anything out? No. So I'm ready to go to 2 parentheses. I'm still setting it equal to 0. X. This is a negative, which means one has to be positive, one has to be negative. Factors of 6, 3, and 2. That's not going to work. So this should be a negative 1. A negative 2x plus a positive x is a negative 1, so this is negative 1. Now it's going to work. Too bad y'all weren't all here in the classroom and somebody could correct me and they could get an extra point on a test. Okay, so factors of 6, 3 and 2. I want this to be a negative, so my 3, my larger number, needs to be negative. Always mentally check to see if this works out. Negative 3x, positive 2x gives me a negative 1x, so that works. If you do not factor correctly, you will not get the correct solutions. Once you factor, you now set each parentheses equal to 0 because we're saying this times this equals 0. So if one of these parentheses equals 0, 0 times anything equals 0. Okay, so the way that you say that is if x plus 2 were to equal 0. In other words, if this whole set of parentheses, if this number was 0, 0 times anything is 0, and that statement is true. Okay? So we say, okay, well, if x plus 2 equals 0, then we say, all right, what if this parentheses equal to 0? So we say x minus 3 equals 0. Because that means this is 0, and 0 times anything is 0, and it makes the statement true. Now you just use algebra to solve. Subtract 2 to both sides, and x equals negative 2. Here you add 3 to both sides, and x equals 3. To check these, what you would do is you would go back and put in x equals negative 2. Everywhere you saw an x, put a negative 2 here, negative 2 here, negative 2 here, and then your left side should equal your right side if this is a correct solution. For this one, if you check it, you're going to have to watch your signs. Here, to check this solution, you go back and put 3 in everywhere you see an x. Put 3 in here, put 3 in here, put 3 in here, and the left side should equal the right side. I'm only going to check the negative 2 just so you can watch me check it. So everywhere I see an x, I'm going to put a negative 2. So this means this is checking. I'm checking up here. So this is negative 2, it'd be parentheses squared. So it should come out to a positive. Minus 2 times a negative 2 equals a negative 2 plus 6. It's a matter of keeping up all your negatives. Here, this would be a positive 4. Negative 2 times a negative 2 is a positive 4. Negative times a negative, that would be a positive 2 plus 6. 4 plus 4 is 8. 2 plus 6 is 8. The left side equals the right side. It checks. Okay? Alright, I'm not going to check the second solution, but those are the two solutions you should get for 5C9. You should get two solutions. Now let's look at page 5A1, number 17. The highest exponent, 4. So theoretically I have 4 solutions for this problem. Okay? The first step is to always set it equal to 0. So I'm going to move the 72 over. So I'm going to subtract 72x squared to both sides. And then I can't combine x squares to x to the 4th. So you say 2x to the 4th minus 72x squares. Those are not the same kind, so you can't combine them. And then 0. Now I need to factor. The first thing you do when you factor is look to see, can you factor something out? Yes, I can factor a 2 out of both, and then I can factor an x squared. So if I factor a 2x squared out of here, I'm left with an x squared. If I multiply it back out, that does give me that. Factoring a 2 out of the 72 gives me a 36, and then factoring out the x squared pulls that out, okay? So I keep factoring until I can't factor anymore. So I have a 2x squared, and then this is a difference of two squares, x minus 6, x plus 6, taking the square root of each. Square root of x squared is x. Square root of 36, 6. Still setting it equal to 0. Now you set each factor equal to 0, meaning we set this to equal to 0. 2x squared equals 0. X minus 6 equal to 0. X plus 6 equal to 0. Okay? If I went through the algebra motions, you can see that 2 times 0 is going to give you 0. So we know that x has to be 0. But just to go through the motions, you divide 2 by both sides. X squared, 0 divided by anything is 0. If you take the square root of both sides, square root of x squared is just x. Square root of 0 is just 0. So x equals 0 accounts for both of these solutions. It'd be like 2x equals 0. X equals 0, x equals 0. That's two solutions. You don't have to write it like that, but I'm just showing you since we're supposed to have 4 solutions. Here, add 6 to each side. X equals 6. That would be another solution. Subtract 6 from both sides. X equals negative 6. And that would be another solution. So theoretically, x equals 0, x equals 0 are two solutions, and then these are the other two. That would give you 4 solutions. But since this is a repetitive solution, you don't need to write it twice. So you have x equals 0, and if you put in 0 for each x, 0 here, 0 here, 0 times anything is 0, 0 times anything is 0, the left-hand side will equal 0. 0 is the easiest solution to check. Then if you put in 6 in for x, you can put it, it's usually best to put it back in the original equation because you know that equation is correct. So if you put in 6 here, did 6 to the 4th, then multiplied it by 2, that should be the same as 6 squared, then multiply it by 72. And the same is true for negative 6. The left side should equal the right side when you go back to check it.